Well, we're kind of coming to the end of Volunteer Week, but you can volunteer on Monday or Tuesday or any time at all. Let's chat a bit about some of the options with Jeff Sharp, who's the acting CEO for Volunteering Victoria. Jeff, great to catch up. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. It's great to be talking to you and your team and everyone who's listening today. Hope you're having
all right. Yeah, we're having a good day. This is a message that is kind of relevant all year round, isn't it?
Well, I think so, but, kind of says that on the tin when you think about what I do as head of Volunteer Victoria. I'm a little bit one-eyed when it comes to volunteering, but I think there's plenty of people out there that probably share my view. There's possibly the most important thing to happen in community.
That's a good way to put it. Well, what about maybe a bit of a different approach, either for people who might want to think about volunteering or organisations that might want to get volunteers coming in? Can you give us some ideas in that area?
Yeah, sure. Look, one of the reasons we've given the theme this year to National Volunteering Week is something for everyone. Because sometimes people, when they think about volunteering, they kind of get stuck in, I guess, maybe what they've seen other people do, or they have really strong ideas of, this is what volunteering means. But, volunteering is just actually about helping out in your community. And it might be as simple as having a cup of tea with the next door neighbor, or maybe it's helping out with the footy on Saturday, or at the school, or with a group, or maybe you're one of the amazing people who work with some of our amazing hospice centers and support them, or you're doing guide dog training, or there's just I could go on about all the different positions. There's some people that, for instance, there's a whole program of people that are maybe a little more mobility impaired, but enjoy technology, and they're volunteering through their technology, and they're helping small groups with their online presence or catching up on some of their computer work. So, as many different people as there are in different organizations, different groups doing things that they are passionate about, there are opportunities to volunteer. And it's not always... sometimes I think people get a little bit kind of, I've got to be there, 100 hours a week, and I've got to do it for 25 years to be a really valuable volunteer. No, just anything you've been involved with, you would know this. Sometimes just going in every now and again and saying good day, that can just be really, really helpful and useful, and say, hey, how can I help? And so we're just encouraging people. There's lots of opportunities. There's organizations, there's websites, there's our website, Volunteering Victoria, that we've got links to all the places that people advertise for them. But I'm a really big fan of saying, figure out what kind of floats your boat. What gets you excited? Is it community radio? I saw a great program actually where teenagers volunteered to help those of us who were, say, a little more chronologically challenged with their IT. And how do I drive this jolly phone? Well, you know what? Find a teenager. They'll help you out. And it was great because it was just, it was organized by the local library, and it really broke down some amazing barriers. It was so much fun. There's just all those opportunities out there. Whatever you're interested in, whatever you're passionate about, go and find some like-minded people. And I guarantee there's opportunities for volunteering, because we're pretty desperate right now. We haven't kind of gone back to volunteering in the way that we did before COVID.
I've heard that.
Yeah, we've kind of all, I guess, maybe we got a little bit small in our little sort of circles, and sometimes that's kind of nice. But just nothing beats getting out and meeting people and engaging with them and finding people that share an interest and a passion. Just recently, I live in Ballarat, and just recently I was watching some of the volunteers at the Tram Museum having an absolute ball, racing the lake in Ballarat, running the old classic trams on a gorgeous autumn day, having an absolute hoot. It was really lovely seeing them out there engaging with the public, and I just thought, that's just great. And then there's a whole bunch of people back in the workshop and fixing up the old ones. So, like I say, whatever you can find, there is something to celebrate, and that's what we wanted to celebrate with National Volunteer Week. Something for everyone.
Jeff, a number of our listeners may have a disability or know someone that has a disability. That's kind of no obstacle to getting in. I mean, if you find the right organisation or the right sort of fit for you, then that's a cool thing to do as well.
Again, it's all about passion and interest. I just met with a group of young people in Sunbury who were working with their NDIS provider, and they said, the one thing we want to do is we want to volunteer more. So they got together, and the NDIS provider got them organized, and they've been going along and doing sports volunteering with some of their local clubs, and they're involved with the foot team and assisting with some of the game day activities. One of them was even reffing. One of them was a really good scorekeeper. Talk about, he just had that great kind of, zoned in attention to detail. So, it was all about finding strengths, and they're just really enjoying being part of that social fabric. And, one of them said to me, look, I'm not the sort of person that would ever have been in the footy club as a player, because I kind of look at, my physical challenges and I think, I couldn't be there. But actually, they're just loving being part of that club and participating in it. And the club's loving having them, and they're just so grateful to have their help. So, yeah, I think maybe sometimes there's a few organizations that might be a bit guilty of thinking of people in that situation as clients instead of volunteers. But I think that most of them are catching on. And I think the reality is that actually there's some great opportunities if you're up for it.
Jeff, you make an excellent point, because we've heard so much about the NDIS, but kind of putting it to your local area coordinator or your planner that I want to get involved with an activity, they would look at that very, very favorably.
Absolutely. And, I've been in the volunteering sector for a long time, and I always say I have a team of people that work for me, in the different roles that I've had. Some of them get paid, and some of them just volunteer their time. We all do it because we're passionate. The ones that get paid, it's just because they're sitting in the sort of role that we know that definitely we need someone to be there on Monday morning, come hell or high water. Someone's going to actually be there, and we can follow them up. And so we're paying someone to make sure they're there. But there's plenty of other roles that need doing, and they're just as important, and they're just as much a part of the team. And they're no different just because we don't pay them to make sure that we're there. And I just think there's so many opportunities for us to be out and involved and engaged in things we're passionate about, in things that are important. But, also, sometimes it's about things that you might do because of the community that you belong to, or your religious community as well. There's so much volunteering that happens around there. National Volunteer Week is just about celebrating what is great, what is amazing about community. And that's when we do things for each other because it matters, not because someone's paying for it. And that's what we want to celebrate and rejoice in.
Jeff, often we hear about, people with disabilities that get involved with in an employment situation. The organisation, the company benefits from it, that kind of emphasis on diversity. So, if someone volunteers for an organisation, those benefits can be creamed off as well.
Absolutely. Really great point. Yeah. It's a great way to add some of that to your annual report. But the thing is that as someone who's, I've run businesses and I've run organizations for a long time. And the one thing that I really value is getting people in with new perspectives and new ideas, people that think differently and have different life experiences and different lives. So that's what makes for amazing organizations amazing opportunities.
All right, so, Jeff, now we're going around Australia on the Vision Australia radio network. You work for Volunteering Victoria. Is there like a national volunteering organisation that people can maybe check out their website or get in touch with them?
There certainly is. Volunteering Australia. So as much as we have a volunteering SANNT, Volunteering Victoria, Volunteering Queensland, we also have a Volunteering Australia. So we have those peak bodies in each state, and then we have, if you like, our peak body, Volunteering Australia. And that's a great website. It has lots of interesting new research, and you can actually find on there, if you're at all involved in volunteering in any way, shape, or form, a volunteer, you lead volunteers, or you're involved with volunteers somehow. There's the National Volunteering Strategies on there, and they've got links on there that they're really looking for ideas. They've identified these are the important things for volunteering in Australia, and they'd love some more ideas of how to activate that. So if you're at all interested or passionate about it, hit up volunteeringaustralia.org.au. You just Google it. You can also just Google National Volunteering Strategy. It'll take you straight through. You're not supposed to say Google anymore, are you? Because it's not all Google. But yeah, you can search wherever you're happy to search, and they'll take you right there to the National Volunteering Strategy or Volunteering Australia. And they've got links to all of the things that I've been talking about, places you can find volunteer positions, volunteer organizations, ideas for volunteering. If you run volunteers, you can hit up our website, volunteeringvictoria.org.au. We've got all sorts of information for people on to help them if they're running a team of volunteers, or as I say, Volunteering Australia or any of the other state peaks. We're all here to help.
Jeff, love your passion. Keep up the great work, and a big shout out to all the volunteers.
Indeed it is. Happy Volunteer Week.
That's Jeff Sharp there. He's the CEO for Volunteering Victoria, but volunteeringaustralia.org.au. We'll put that up on our Facebook page as well.